discharged, are you just gonna throw tourniquets on them even though you can't go above the injury
Yeah,
anyway?
you're gonna go as high as you can. So if this person's strapped and the further we get them uncovered, we're gonna get those tourniquets as high as we possibly can, as soon as we can.
Regardless of your lines
Yeah.
of injury?
Yeah, because because I mean, if you get a flux of this much, because a lot of times you're not gonna have a lot of as much tissue and muscle damage, because most of this is bone, right? And so you're gonna get some protection from your bones there. And so as soon as you get it cleared, on goes the tourniquets, as low as you get there, as high as you can possibly get them, and then go from there. So this is where the sudden release, right? So this is why it's super important to coordinate with that release. Because if you just, like we were saying, just whoop, okay, good to go, boom, it just takes all that acidosis, lactic acid, and just shoots it. Where's it all end up? Go straight to the heart, right? Does the heart like lactic acid? Nope. I don't like lactic acid at all, like, even on like movies, but yeah, the heart definitely doesn't. Okay? So acute reperfusion. So what we need to do is fluid. Fix the acidosis with our bicarb, our calcium, our albuterol. Put our tourniquets on to prevent that, to slow that portion problem down. So we got that. Boom, boom, boom. We've got to do that. We really don't do the insulin and the DD5, so that's just an old slide, so don't worry about that. Okay. So if we
We don't do any sort of pre-treat with sodium bicarb in the savings bags, like we're dumping fluids in there while they're doing extrication. We're basically right off the bat, the only thing we're doing is maybe some nebulizer and fluids.
Yes.
That's it.
Yep.
And then that 2-minute warning comes out, and then we start dumping your sodium bicarb.
Yep, so that's where that warning. So that's why it's really important, because that coordination of this is when they're coming out, this is when the bicarb's going in. Okay?
So the bicarb is right after release, or is it?
It's
Right
before.
Right before. Okay? So late treatment for it, dialysis obviously. So here's some of these are duplicates. Let me get to that. All right, so it can happen under the 1 hour mark. The 1 hour is one of our big things that we're looking for. We're looking at that 1 hour mark because that's going to tell us a lot of how much bicarb we're going to give. Okay? So anything at the hour mark, so under an hour they get an amp of bicarb. Okay? So if it's under an hour, they get an amp up to an hour. And then if they're trapped longer than 1 hour, they get an additional amp of bicarb, which is how many milliequivalents?
50.
For every hour they're trapped, up to a max of
150.
150 milliequivalents, okay? So they get 3 amps. 3 amps. Yep, they get 3 amps of bicarb depending on the extended period of time that they're there.
And that 3
What
is
is their
additional,
longest?
so you have 4 total? Or
So
is
No,
it-
3 total. 3 total.
So essentially, 3 hours is the max dosage.
Of the bicarb. Yeah.
So even if they were there for 5, we'd still get.
Yes, you still only get the 150.
What
Okay.
happens if you don't give that last 2 hours if they're stuck there for 5 hours?
Lines of what?
If you can only give that much, but there's like they're longer.
They're just saying that it's the amount of acidosis and the ability for the bicarb to work, that there's enough in the system with just those 3. And most of the time, you're not going to carry anything more than those 3 anyways. But they just, with the studies, they've just shown that it becomes non-productive after the 150 milliequivalents. Okay.
How much time do they need to be trapped to initiate and
So that's where, looking at it, making the determination, how bad is the injury, how big of a site it is. So if Dustin's arm is pinned here, we're still pinned to Dustin, and he's been there for 20 minutes, I'd give him an amp of bicarb, right? If he's been there for 5 minutes, I'm probably not gonna give him bicarb. I'm not gonna give him any of that stuff. Because it's not like he's gonna have a massive influx from that short period of time. He hasn't forced all that fluid out into the interstitial space. And so a lot of it is gonna be the assessment, looking at it. Has he started to create edema? As soon as you start to see edema or anything like that, that's when you really start to be like, okay, we're in the beginning phases or late phases of
Are
it.
you worried at all about alkalosis?
Sending them too far?
Making them too basic?
No. No. Alright, so what does pain out of proportion mean? With a compartment syndrome type injury.
Not feeling anything.
Or no, too much pain,
Too much
like,
pain.
it doesn't make sense to injury.
Yeah, so like, there'll be times, so we're talking kind of about the rhabdo kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? So has anybody ever had rhabdo? Anybody? Nobody? Alright, so one of our probies had it because obviously we worked him too hard. And it got into, and it was legitimately one of our probies, one of my probies. So what happened is his arm, he just woke up late at night one night and his arm had completely swollen, all the way up. He was red from here to here, couldn't bend his arm, couldn't do anything like that, right? So we had worked him to the point where his muscles had broke down and sent all that interstitial space actually out into, or all the potassium stuff out of the interstitial space. Dude ended up almost having to go on dialysis. Yeah, so he was in the ICU. His urine was like black almost. I'm a dick, I'm sorry. So, I set my expectations high. Yeah, so I apologize for that. Yeah. And so, yeah, so it's the same kind of thing. It's like, so it didn't look bad. It just looked swollen, but he said it was 10 out of 10, excruciating, this just debilitating pain. And he came in, I guess it was 2 weeks later, still swollen. And he's like, yeah, dude, if I do this, it's still a 10 out of 10. If I keep it straight, then we're okay. I was just like, oh, geez, that sucks. Right?
We'll see you later.
Not bad. Not bad. I'm like, maybe you should have been in better shape when you started. Oh, sorry. So yeah, so if it's going to look not as bad, but it's actually very, very severe pain, very, very bad injury. Okay. Upper extremities. Why is the forearm and the hand at the highest risk of being trapped?
Because they're the ones that are reaching in
Do we tend to put hands where they don't belong? Yes.
all the time.
Okay.
I get you.
Legs, lower legs, right? They get caught and stuff, right? Like, but like, you can try and get your torso. So like, what's your like primary goal when something's like going to hit you? What do you protect?
Your toes.
Right? So you do that kind of thing. You're protecting your torso and your head, right? That's the kind of thing that you're trying to protect. So a lot of times your legs and calves are the things that take the brunt of it. We talked about that, making the incisions. Okay, sorry about that. Syndrome, sepsis, motor failure. Here we go. So this is what we do. 2 liters, flowing, good to go there. Sodium bicarb for every hour, dorsal pelvis, lower extremity. You notice it doesn't happen in the upper extremity. So coming from a structural collapse, confined space approach, upper extremities, we do the exact same thing. And that's one of the things that we're working on getting changed so that it is put into the writing, so it does say exactly what the protocol says.
Let's see if your slides right.
I don't know, some wise person told me I could just read into it.
Yeah, exactly. And so you place your tourniquet 2-3 inches from the injury, and then when you're watching for your hyperkalemia, treat pain aggressively. Rock your rhodium if you go to RSI somebody, agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
Hyperkalemia.
Okay, what's the dose?
0.3.
One day per kg.
What did you say?
What were we
Wait,
asking?
did you black out?
I don't hear, what?
Wait, what's the dose of rock rhodium, Maddie?
Wait, only does
I'm gonna ask the person that
Wait,
knows it,
only
hold
does
on.
it.
Maddie's gonna just say it for
Get
everybody.
it, Maddie. I said 1.
Yeah, what?
1 gram.
Thank you, Mark. One what?
It was just said like 6 times.
Well, but there's like 12 different people over here with 12 different dosing, Andrew. Not saying. Okay, so why don't we wanna go sucks?
It increases potassium.
So then that would be bad, right? So if we're gonna work a code, we're working a code on this person, we pull this person out, now we're working a code, they're in B-fib. What is our treatment? Wow, not everybody. You guys are really good at throwing out stuff. We're in B-fib, what's our treatment?
Do they have a pulse?
Shock.
Shock,
Okay,
right.
then what?
Compression.
Oh, wait, is it, oh, never mind.
B-fib. We're
It's
not in B-fib.
lidocaine instead of amiodarone.
No,
Like, he's
I
on a protocol.
was gonna say, we don't even have liking in our protocol.
That is a national protocol.
national protocol, yeah.
You're gonna follow your ACLS algorithm.
Yeah, so what I'm getting at, but what I'm getting
But
at is,
what's your,
You're not gonna use
so we go,
everything,
so we go
though.
shock,
So
we
you
go
might-
shock, we go CPR, we come back, we get, we
You're
eventually give our
trying to
epi
take-
after our second shock, and then we come back. And then what do we go with?
calcium?
chloride or calcium gluconate.
Or sodium bicarbonate.
Okay?
We
And
can't do
then-
calcium
No, and then-
gluconate.
And then if our
for
internal CO2 is an issue, then we go more sodium.
Alright, so basically you're treating this just like a dialysis patient, right?
Yeah.
So we run this just like a hyperkalemia code, okay? So you gotta go through that same process, treat it the same as, so now as we're doing these scenarios, mega code scenarios, this is where you guys have to start paying attention to, be like, oh, what are the history behind this person? It's like, oh yeah, they were just pulled out of this trapped position.
For that, would you not start with, obviously, CPR, but before the epi, would you do that?
So hopefully, like you were, like, on it, like, you were dialed, and you'd already given your bicarb, right? You already gave your bicarb beforehand, before you made the release, so then you get him out. So then the other thing you're gonna do is, so then you go to your epi, shock, epi, calcium, approach.
And then wait for the sodium bicarb to circulate more.
Right, because bicarb's already in, you already gave a ton of bicarb,
Yeah.
right? So it's not like you gotta move into the bicarb again later down the road in your ACLS, because you've already given it, there's a ton of it already in there.
Would you reconsider giving it at a specific time later? Like if it's been 5 minutes, it's been so many rounds, it's still not fixed, would you use more sodium bicarb?
No, because we can only do it for.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just curious. because-
Yeah, you get the max of the 150, and then
Okay.
it comes back to creating true alkalotic
Yeah.
of a situation.
You would do the epi twice, and then you do the, treat it, the.
No, you give epi once, give your epi once, and then the next drug you're gonna give, you're gonna go with your, yes.
I've always, I thought
And
so
there's
too.
no risk of, so when we're doing, like, if we're gonna do an albuterol treatment and sodium bicarb, there's no risk of stacking, stacking meds for your hyperkalemia piece, like you don't stack antihistamines. Like we're not stacking amiodarone, we're not stacking calcium chloride. Like we can stack sodium and albuterol.
Yes, yeah,
There's nothing, it is just so that because,
yeah,
I'm
it's,
sorry,
yeah, it's,
yeah.
yeah, it's a different type of, sorry.
How do you feel about, Versed or ketamine before you release?
Say that one more time.
How do you feel about Versed or ketamine before you release?
Okay, why?
For the pain management, it's like isolated.
Okay. Is it in the protocol for pain management?
Yeah.
not specific for crushing, but isolated
Yeah.
injury.
But I mean, yeah, so,
So obviously you can go with opiates, right? You're gonna go with fentanyl and stuff. This person's gonna be loaded up with pain meds as well, right? Because anybody that's crushed, is he gonna be in pain,
yeah.
right? So he's stuck,
Yeah, pain meds way even before we get to the crushing.
right? So you're gonna be, so if this kid is stuck for any period of time, you're gonna be giving him a bunch of pain meds already. So now you've already gone through, because with ketamine, you're supposed to give fentanyl non-responsive to opiates. Opiates doesn't get the job done, right? Be like, oh, hey, we moved on, we're to ketamine now, perfect, right? So absolutely, that would be an indication for this person, so, yes.
They've been,
Wow, angry?
they've been pinned for 3 hours or more.
Okay.
Our max dose is 150.
Yeah.
Do we give that all at once, or do we give it
Yes,
all at once?
yep, all at once, yep.
Okay.
So it's just one after the other after the other.
Okay.
Yes, Chad?
Is there, or has there ever been a reason that a person's been stuck enough to where field amputation was necessary?
Oh, absolutely.
Well validated.
Yeah, that's because like there's multiple things where people are stuck to the point where it's just like, person's dying, they're just like, yeah.
Is that in our scope?
Anything is in your scope if the doctor is telling you to do it.
That's what you all validated, they had a guy who just taking a tractor away from his trailer, semi-trailer, and the vehicle rolled on him and hit him between two rear dualies, and they ended up calling a trauma surgeon out to the field, and they
Yeah.
amputation right there at the table.
Nose goes.
So if we do have an amputation of rear dealers, are we gonna still go with our correct protocol? So bolus them, sodium bicarb, then cut the nose off, and then release? Or would you need,
Drugs if you were just cutting off.
because now you're releasing where all that,
Right, where all that fluid
where
is.
all that stuff is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're still gonna tourniquet. you're still gonna tourniquet, right? Because you're doing this field amputation thing. I probably wouldn't,
Be ready
I mean,
to,
depending on the extent of time,
Well, then again, if we're tourniqueting and releasing, we're not releasing all of that fluid.
right, because if you
cutting
chop it
off the
off,
fluid,
Yeah, it's all
eliminate
gonna
it.
be on the pavement.
cutting off the
Yeah,
toxin.
and so,
So
I
it'd
mean,
be the same as a tourniquet,
right,
theoretically.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't,
I think I'd wait till.
I mean,
But I guess if you're gonna have to amputate
I was gonna say,
something, you're also
we're getting
on
pretty,
with the-
pretty,
on with the.
It's
the
gone very dark.
medical control, so you can consult.
If you're amputating,
And that was the other thought with a tourniquet. Another reason why it's different than a tourniquet is because you have an open wound and all that stuff's getting out. And in the compartment syndrome, it's not.
that's the waste product, so.
Dude, that's like security complex full of medic. You kidding me? I was
Feel better?
That you were just gonna say, like, as the farmer, you kind of choose
What did you?
so you guys laugh about this, I'm trying to find a picture that I had, so it was pretty insane, so dude, oh, there it is, boom, okay. Okay, I gotta get it set up the right way. I'm not gonna be able to show, oh, yeah, you can't see that one.
Let's walk around.
Okay, so here we were, right? This is a code 1 alpha call. Okay, this will take like 2 minutes, then you guys can get out of here, whoever needs to leave. Okay, so you got a building. This is the back of Fred Meyer. You guys know they have those giant trash compactors, right? That park diagonal in the back of Fred Meyer. Okay? There's a speed bump.
All.
So there's a speed bump right here, and there's a speed bump back here. Okay? Big speed bump. Okay? So in pulls this guy with a semi truck. Okay? So he's got a tractor, or yeah, he's got the tractor. Okay? And then he's got his trailer here. Okay? Okay. So you got your speed bump there. So he gets out, forgets to set his brake. Walks along here, there's a little gap here, right? He forgets to set his brake, comes over here to do something. Right about the time he gets to here, the whole truck rolls down off the speed bump. So as it starts to roll, he turns around, he starts sprinting this direction to get back to the truck. Just enough time to stick his arm through where this occurs. So we get an alpha traumatic injury. And so the engine arrived, there was no truck dispatched on it or anything like that. So the engine arrived, they pulled up right here, right? And they called for a code 3 truck right away. So we're like, oh, that's weird, we're going on the alpha call, that's weird, why didn't you just code 3, right? So we roll up, and I walk up here, and I see a guy right here. And I see his arm disappear. So I walk around, and I see his hand on that side. I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay. And I come back over here, and the firefighter, who is like a 6'4", probably almost 300-pound guy, is holding the guy up, taking the pressure off this guy's arm. The guy could barely speak English. It's all Russian. So we're trying to communicate with him. And so it took roughly 25 minutes to get this guy out. Right? So we ended up coming around. We can't back the truck up because, let me show you.
Take his arm off.
Yeah.
The engine was in the way.
So here, let me just show you here. All right, so
Stupid engineer parking lot.
So come on up here real quick. I'm not gonna walk it around. So come on up. So this is him, this is the side that you can see. So there's no backing up with this. Okay? There's no backing up, he's stuck.
We haven't
Okay?
even have
And it's
to,
flush.
didn't have to roll forward in order to, so if you backed up identically, roll
It would
forward.
have just,
When you had to, at least.
there's his hand right there. So go ahead, roll back.
No, I'm saying, but
back.
It-
that
you-
rolled into
you-
place, right, to crush that?
No,
I see
so
the other
basically
So you should be able to
it's
roll it out.
smashed. So no, you would not be able to, it would have severed his hand completely. You would have pulled his hand off.
Was the other side
Yeah.
a picture of
Dude, no,
on the other side?
no, we looked into all that.
Yeah.
Right?
Someone take my sweatshirt off the table.
So that's his
Picture
hand.
with.
So
I have a
his
sweatshirt
hand
on.
had swollen to the point where it looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy hammer. Right, because I touched it, I'm like, hey buddy, I'm like yelling, I'm like, can you feel this? He's like, oh, you know, you know. I'm like,
Can you see the first picture?
Take that as a yes.
Can you see the first picture?
yeah, that's his hand.
That's disgusting.
Okay?
Oh, I see.
Hold on, so that's it, that's his hand, that's him there. Okay, go.
Wait,
Yep, that's him.
I wanted to see the camera.
That's his hand.
I'll just look over there.
Yeah. So that's the ones that came out.
Wait,
Wait, let me see.
Let us see. There you go. That will do it. Yeah. 'cause there's
Oh,
no-
that's the,
So take a look at his forearm, what's going on with his forearm there?
That was like
Look
beautiful.
at the swelling going on there. Okay?
Did it just like once you released it, it was?
So his hand is actually kind of, you see a little tissue there, it's actually.
So did they give him
Oh,
sodium
there's
bicarbonate or not?
How is that called?
So it just sheared.
That's how things happen.
It full on sheared the arm off.
So yeah, so we started IVs, we ended up tourniqueting him, doing that
Wait, let me
thing.
see it. Wait, yeah, we didn't see it, dude.
What?
No.
Picture.
The sheared off.
Wait, it's arm, hands
It
not
just
on
sheared.
here.
It's here, and there's like one little flap of skin that was shoved up underneath there.
Crazy.
Yeah. So what we had to do is we disconnected this from the building.
I'm missing a shirt and I should try to give.
We disconnected these bolts here, disconnected because it was bolted into the ground. And then we created a purchase point to use the spreaders here initially, a ram, at the same time. And as we were pushing it away, we grabbed and hooked onto this with a winch and then pulled it backwards as we were spreading it away from it.
Did you guys do it like super quick?
Well, it took about 20-25 minutes to get the whole thing, because it took a long time to get this.
So you could say you were rushing.
We were moving.
I'm out.
Wow, hysterical.